Why are they naked? My goodness, look at this. Hi guys, Charles A here from our Pawn Element. So, other than flight simulators and some strategy games like Anno 1800, for city builders, I also would like to dabble with any grand strategy games. And one of the strategy games that pretty much is popular right now is the Crusader Kings III. I never played Crusader Kings 1 or 2. This is my first time playing this game. I actually dabbled with it the last few days, that's just to get a feel of it. And it's quite interesting. As you can see, I have a continue option here. But instead of continuing, I would rather create a new game with you guys for this particular game. So what is CK3 or Crusader Kings 3? Basically, it is developed by Paradox Interactive and Strategy First. So other than Europa Universalis, which is one of their grand strategy games also, this one is particular in making a dynasty simulator. It's like a role-playing strategy game. And basically it focuses on a trait-based individual whose primary goal is the growth and enrichment of their dynasty. So I will be manipulating one character after another, while that character, which actually is owning a particular land, grows their family, creates a dynasty, and hopefully their dynasty grows bigger and much more powerful. And this is like a mix of not really fantasy, it's basically history. So there's a lot of people here that is part of history, and this game lets you simulate how to play as that person from specific epochs or era. So let's see how it looks like. I removed the music, that way we can focus on the gameplay itself. So the background music, I'll just remove it and I will go from there. So here we do have the option, we'll just create a new game, and it looks like you have two eras, one for 867, I think this is AD, and 1066 AD. I think the Mongols will start invading at 1200 AD, so you do have at least 200 years to prepare your dynasty before the Mongols come in. But I'd rather go far beyond the Mongols and start with 867. On 867 of January 1st, it's basically about the Vikings, I think, or Wrath of the Northmen. 2 years ago, King Ella of Northumbria threw the great Viking hero Ragnar Lodbrok into a pit of snakes to die. Oh man. Oh, that sucks. Upon hearing the news, Ragnar's sons set sail for England to avenge their father. The brothers have since established a firm foothold in York and the Isles. I think this one here in England. The Anglo-Saxon kings have lost battle after battle. Their future looks bleak indeed. But all hope is not lost, and a great hero could still turn the tide, which of course you can be it. Will you lay all of England under Norse rule, or vanquish the great heathen army from Anglo-Saxon soil? So you can be the Duke of York, which is easy, half done white shirt. You can also be Duke of Isles, which is also easy, Ivar the Boneless. The names are, wow, spectacular, huh? Boneless. And Jorn, Born, not sure how to pronounce that, Ironside, which is also easy, which is, I think this is near the Netherlands, I'm not sure. This one is, well, he has a lot of land in England or Great Britain, and this guy has York itself. Count of Dorset is hard, which is I think is southern England. Then Duke of Zeeland, which is also part of the Netherlands. I think this is where the Vikings are. Or you can play as any ruler in 867. So not a lot of people know this. I've been actually researching. You know, they usually play whatever the options are here, but you can play as any ruler in in here in this scenario, which is interesting because this makes it much more of a bigger game. Just imagine all the people here, the names and everything like here exist in history, and all their wives, their brothers, their offspring are pretty much accurate. So if you can play as any ruler in 867, let's look at that. I think it will show you the whole map, all of this. Look at this. I mean, literally, if you look at England right here, I'm zooming in, you can play as anyone. So I can play as this guy, Shifton Sen Phelan Mac Morchad of Thomond, age 67. He has a vengeful trait, a stubborn trait, and a craven. So basically, he does not enjoy being challenged or scared at all. This is their house. So just like in Game of Thrones, you got the House of Stark, right? So this one is the house of let's see here, House Igonacht Arthur Shilaish. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. But yeah, so this is just England. Now you can play as anyone here. You can play as in France. It's called West Francia, because again, this is 867 AD. It's like a long time ago. And each one you can play as. So in this case, the blue one, King Charles, oh, just like my name, the second, the bald, of West Francia. It's 43. He's deceitful. He's also impatient and stubborn. So based on their traits and the interrelations of this character for other characters within this game, these traits play into how they interact with those characters. So if you heard of The Sims, you have those traits, right? So this one, more than likely, again, you correct me if I'm wrong, plays into the actual game itself. So if you're stubborn, then it will take into account all the data that goes against, let's say for example, learning. So in this guy is impatient, so he doesn't learn that much, because right now it shows -2. So he does learn, but slower because of his impatient trait. You can click here too. See this different flag, the house flag? This is King Solomon Mab Rewallen of Brittany, age 57, during this time frame. He's also Catholic. He's ambitious. He's greedy and callous. So being called both heartless and cold-blooded, Solomon is indifferent to most. That's his personality trait. All of them have personality traits. So if you look at Italy, for example, you can also play as one. So for example, you can play an Italian, Prince Guaifer of Salerno, 37 years old, also Catholic. He's callous, arbitrary. He does his own thing and has little regards of others. Wow. And greedy. So you can see here, diplomacy is -2. That means he's not really that prime to do diplomacy, even though he can, but there's a little bit of a setback because he's greedy. But the monthly income for this particular land of his has 15% more compared to others, because again, he's greedy. So yeah. So yeah, if you look at everything, you can all go towards I think this is India. Yeah, this is India right here. You can play one And for example, Maharaja Amogavarsha of the Rashtrakuta Kingdom. It's quite big. And each and every one of here, this guy, for some reason is not wearing any shirt, you'll be able to see a lot of information for him and a lot of people underneath him. So again, he's lazy. Whenever you're lazy, basically all your diplomacy, your martial prowess, your stewardship, intrigue, learning are all -1, meaning that you have that setback. So instead of having a plus, the more number or the more value you have for that particular trait, the better you are. In this case, because it's lazy, it's a little bit of a setback. But he's not really that stressed, because stress loss is 15%. That means it's because of his laziness, he doesn't get stressed too much. He's also fickle, meaning that hostile scheme resistance are 20%. He changes his mind more often than not, making him hard to predict. So it's harder to make a scheme against him. So in this game, you can actually create schemes against other characters, against other rulers, even against your own vassals, against your own family, brother, whatever you want to do. This is like Game of Thrones, but in game mode. Again, he's lazy, he's fickle, but trusting. So when he's trusting, that means it's easier to do diplomacy with using this character. If you have a liege, if this character has a liege, meaning he has his own king, the opinion of the king is +15, meaning that the king likes him more. His vassals will like him more. Enemy hostile scheme success chance plus -15, which is red, +15. So it's gonna be harder for us to scheme against him. All right. And all the way to Vietnam. I think this is Vietnam, right? So yeah, it's interesting. Now each and every one, for example, if I select this guy, I should be able to know the name of his parents, his lineage, his brothers and sisters, and so on. So for example, if we select this little guy right here, Duke Ganda of the Thaton Duchy, you can see who his heir is, which is Zaya Thaton. For some reason it says here, son of Duke Ganda Gambler. So I guess, so this guy is lustful. That means he can easily make children. He's zealous, so his piety is much more up there. In this particular era, religion is everything, so we have to take that into consideration using this history simulator and role-playing. And he's also humble. And this is the name of the house. It looks like a boar, a wild boar. And yeah, so for this segment, for this video, we're not really committing to any rulers yet. We're just testing this out. So I'm gonna try this guy, Duke Ganda of Thaton Duchy, 27 years old, and play as him and see how it looks like. So now we're pretty much him now. So you can see here the UI didn't change much, but the buttons are. Right now it's paused, and you can see it that this is you. So you can click here and you can see more of it. For example, he's a mastermind philosopher, so his learning is +8, and his monthly learning lifestyle experience is +40%, meaning that it's easier for us to do some research using this guy. So he already has an heir, basically his son. For some reason he doesn't have a spouse yet, so that means his son is a son for an unmarried situation. So these are the parents. If it's grayed out like this, that means they're dead. And grandparents. have one children but no siblings. As you can see, here's 0 siblings. So the first thing that we need to do is see what we have here. So the name of the dynasty is the Thaton Dynasty. So we'll just change that, for example. You can also rename your dynasty to whatever you want. So I'm gonna put in Starks. Starks Dynasty. You can do the house name as well. So the house name and motto. So in this case, Starks. Stark. Until our strength engulfs the world. Hey, I like that. So I'll just leave it as that. House Stark. Starks. Well, you know what? Make it Stark Dynasty. There we go. Right now we're obscure, meaning that you're not really that popular. So the more you do anything that will involve a lot of prestige, like declaring war, getting more lands, the more popular your family will be, or your dynasty will be. This is not something that I can finish using this particular guy, because this will take hundreds and hundreds of years to finish up. So that means whatever you do with your dynasty pretty much goes along with your children and your children's children. You're basically everything. So if you look at the dynasty tree, it tells you that the dynasty started with this guy. They're both dead. So this is rather a young dynasty. So I'm just a third of the lineage, and Zaya Stark is basically his son, or my son right here, will be my heir, inheriting the only land that we have over here. So 37 gold is the amount that we have, and this is our monthly income. So the first thing that you need to do, based on my trials for this particular game before, is you look at each and every items here on the upper right corner. So these are the things that you need to do first so that your campaign will go smoother later on. So let's try this. So let's go ahead and choose a lifestyle for this guy. So Duke Ganda of the Stark Duchy, we'll choose a lifestyle for him. So what kind of lifestyle we're going to be doing? So these, as you can see here, are traits. If you look at this one, is for diplomacy, which is 0. He has nothing right now. I mean, he sucks. But he is not bad in martial, as you can see here, 6. His stewardship is so-so, meaning that how he focused on dealing justice, administrating the lands of your realm, and filling your coffers with gold. The next one is intrigue. Basically it focuses on the manipulation of people, the nature of secrets, and the cunning plots that will bring your plans to fruition. It is quite inciting because you can actually do whatever schemes and plots against other people. If you want drama, then you can create drama, right? And the last one is learning, which is 11. So he's really good at scheming and learning. Right now, learning is focusing on learning all that you can. The realm of the knowledge and divinity lie within your grasp, as well as the secrets to life itself. Because of your learning, education, you gain 40% more experience in this lifestyle. So in this case, he has this leaning towards where he's gravitating towards to. I would advise going through that because he has more bonuses when he tries to do that. So let's do that. If you can see perks right here, you have perks that are already set up. He's faithful, he's zealous, he's clerical, and you can make focuses on this one. If you reset the perks, you gain 100 stress. I tried this out, it's not cool. That's because it actually messes up with his psyche. He's trying to be something that he's not. So, but you can also fix that later on with some other things that he can do to alleviate stress. But in this case, I don't want to provide him stress, so it's easier for me. So I'll just leave it the perks there. But there are other perks that you can do. For example, if you're scientific, and you can do a lot of plant cultivation, it actually affects your development of the county, meaning that your county develops faster. So let's do a scholarship focus. In this case, the knowledge of those who have come before, the knowledge of those still living, and the knowledge of perpetual truths. Focusing on scholarship grants, learning is +3. Oh yeah, by the way, anything that you see here, you can have a tooltip, and each tooltip is really important. I set mine up as action tooltip, meaning that if I do the middle mouse button, the tooltip will stay there, and I can read more of each and every blue highlighted text. Alright, so, or theology, I'll just use scholarship focus and select that. So close that. So now he has a focus of specialty now. Next is basically marriage. That way it's easier for you to make children, it's faster for you to make children, and your dynasty recovers and in the safe side, meaning that the more heirs that you have, the further for you from game over, because this will become game over if you don't have any more heir under your genealogy. So let's look for a spouse. For each one, the selector tells you which one is the most relevant for you. I usually go from the top 5, and it would be advisable if you look at someone that is near your area. Why are they naked? My goodness, look at this. That's the first time I've seen this. Alright, let's go back there. Alright, so we click. How can I click this guy? What the? Why are they naked? Chance of children high. Okay. Will not accept. Minus 44. So I guess we can't do that. How about this? This is dressed. Will accept. Medium for chance of children. I want to know where they are first. Usually I just click on their portrait and it tells me where they are. Let's see. Houses. Click to view. Okay, we'll just marry this guy for now and send proposal. And if you start playing and resuming the time, this will be the speed. You got 5 sets of speed. I would recommend the first one so that the days are still ongoing, as you can see here, but not that fast. That way, when we try to send, see this? It took us 9 days to get. Why is he naked? My goodness. To get a response for your marriage proposal. So I gladly accept your marriage proposal. This came from Duke Ganda. Well, hold on. This came from Thakur Bankesha of Banavasi. So he said, I gladly accept your marriage proposal. You will be joined by my daughter Lakshmi in holy matrimony. May Susima bless your union. So excellent. Now if you look at your counsel right now, your wife is able to assist you this time based on her strength. So if you look at her strengths, basically she's good at diplomacy. She's really good at martial arts, but not in stewardship. She doesn't know how to scheme, but she's also smart. Her basic trait is she's forgiving, as you can see here. She's patient and gregarious, meaning she enjoys spending time with other people. Well, that's interesting. It's not bad. Huh. Okay. Alright, so once we've taken care of that, as you can see here, the council tells you which one, and each person has his own trait. So for example, your steward, Purohit Shan of Stark Duchy. She's 53 years old. She's arrogant, gluttonous, and honest, but her stewardship kind of sucks at the moment. And that's gonna be a problem. She's also a lowborn, meaning she's not a noble. And each one, if you right click on their portrait or right click here, you can start scheming if you want. If she doesn't like you, for example, this is, she likes you right now as a person, plus 51, but if this is red, that's not a good thing. This is orange right here, but if it's red, that means they don't like you, and more than likely they go against you. You can also imprison, murder, and what else? And you can appoint them as a physician if you want to. Alright. And looks like she's the priest of my realm, and she endorses me, so that's a good thing. So let's say, for example, my marshal is Adara, and as you can see here, his martial values are not bad, 9. And what he can do is basically organize levies and train commanders. But for now, this video is getting longer. We will continue this as much as we can for my next video. Please look forward for me playing Crusader Kings 3 because it's rather interesting. There's a lot of things that you can do on this game, not just like Civilization, where you can just improve your land and make some armies and everything else. This one is basically human interactions, even though simulated against each other, and you can actually do intrigue. You can do a lot, just like in Game of Thrones, and we can actually make our own stories on this one. Again, this is Charles A from Arpon Elements. Thank you for watching our first episode in Crusader Kings 3. We will continue again on the next episode in regards to this particular area in Vietnam, or I think somewhere in Burma. We'll see. See you then.